Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Today is Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. You are listening to a Java After Dark. He got glasses on. We are getting ready to cover, excuse me, cover the election results here in the city of Boston. Put them glasses on, bro. We need you to see them numbers. Jesus. Let's just bring them right in. Hey, everybody.
Yo, you starting off on some bullshit already tonight. I just want you to know that already.
Brother, I did not do that on purpose.
Already.
Good. It's been a couple of years.
I don't even need these. These are just when the numbers come up. All right. I didn't want you to feel alone.
Shut up. I was about to text the mayor, right, and say, hey, it's nothing personal, but I'm going to start talking trash about the fact that it's 8:51 and we don't still have any results. So she did say that, and you may already know this, federal elections, they can't send the mail-in to the precincts. And so what they did was all the mail-in ballots they sent out to the precincts. Those are going to be counted at the precinct level. So I guess that's some of what we're waiting on. But, brother, how have you been? You have not been on the screen.
I've been well. I'm getting my hands dirty in the DIY process, doing some home remodeling and doing some light consulting with some people here and there that I care about and hope to see do well in the future. But aside from that, just trying to take it easy, man, one day at a time. I'm trying to watch what's going on and pay attention to what's going on in Boston politics. But you know, I like to be at what did Robert De Niro say in Heat? If you see the heat coming around the corner, I want to be able to walk away in 30 seconds. So I don't have the emotional attachments. I've had to emotionally detach from some of it, but still be operating within it to make things happen when they need to.
Let me ask you, I don't know if you heard, but turnout is a little bit higher than it's been in past mid-municipal elections. Now I see your face.
You mean that like 10% to 14%?
Yeah, it's not anything major, but I was surprised. When I went to my precinct, I was number 70. And so that was, I think I'm 17-7. And so that, was interesting. And so though you've shared before, you're emotionally detached and you're doing other things. To you, Carlos, is there something different about this city council election?
I mean, they're all pretty unique. If you've been watching them for a while, and I've been watching them for probably about 30 years, 25 years. Damn, I feel old when I say things like that. They're all unique, and this one just as unique as the others. I mean, there's always been people on the ballot that people have felt like are fringe candidates. There's always been people on the ballot that some people feel like shouldn't be on the ballot, aren't qualified to hold that office should they by some chance get elected. Incumbents are always favored. There's always racial undertones. Sometimes it's hidden behind liberal and conservative and right and left and these kind of labels. But on the city council level, it really comes down to the votes around the budget and schools and things like that, where you can actually see where a city councilor stands or sits or fails to stand. So, I don't think it's too much different. It's a pivotal one in terms of you're seeing a council that was for the first time the most diverse it's ever been, and it has both age, ethnicity, gender, you name it. And it has the potential to stay on that course, depending on who's elected tonight. And it could also start to wane from that course. So it could go back to what it used to be, or start leaning back to what it used to be, and that's up to the voters.
And Carlos, that is that's been my mantra, and that's been my concern over the past few weeks when I sat and realized. And one of the elders brought this to my attention was, and you know this person, but my understanding from them is that Michael wasn't making his announcement; he wasn't running until they were sure that Bridget got on the ballot. And so some of this, go ahead.
No, I'm not mad at that. I'm listening. I'm not mad at that at all.
From a political strategy standpoint, and there will
Right.
be a lot of discussion tonight, folks, that you will just hear about strategy, and it's not an opinion. It's just political strategy. To Carlos and I have to give him his flowers. A lot of my political astuteness, if you will, comes from this man.
Thank you.
Going back, how many years, Carlos?
Cheers. Longer than we need to record, but cheers to that. I'll sip to it.
You are not right, sir. All right. So, what I'm trying to do is just make sure we're public on Facebook. Did you hit the share button, brother?
I have not. I have not even.
Share button.
If you know how many times I had to run upstairs and back downstairs in that 3-minute countdown, and then try to catch my breath before
And
you went on.
you know what I did during that 3-minute countdown, brother. There's some miracles that go on up in there. But so you talked about the point of race, and that's really been my concern, Carlos. Thank you for raising the fact that every election is unique and different. But this one for me, sir, I just have a sentiment that, okay, maybe you can explain this better. They're the district races. There are 13 counselors. Yeah. And when it comes to ordinance or legislative or home petition type rule stuff, those votes, whether at large or district, they're all considered the same as far as their votes. And when it comes to
considered the same, you mean in terms of how much they weigh as a city councilor voting on a project?
One of the 13.
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
One of the 13. Okay. And my concern is that in the at-large space, as you mentioned, it's been the most diverse of women and ethnicity and race and things like that. And I'm just concerned that, based on politics, voting, let's look at redistricting. Let's look at the exam school process. Let's look at the issue, that went on with Ricardo and all that stuff, and some of the contention between Julia and Aaron. There's some interesting dynamics on the council. Let me cut to the chase. I'm afraid that and I've been very public about this, if Nee Walsh and Murphy both get elected as at-large, it's going to really sway the council. The only thing I just thought of in real time is similar to what happened with the Supreme Court. That conservative, it's after dark.
Look, inch into it. Stick your toe in the water. I actually think I disagree with you on this part, because while I don't think my politics align with Bridget Nee Walsh's, nor the communities that I used to represent or live in, is she that much different than, are her votes going to be that much different than that of a Michael Flaherty?
But see, this is the point I'm making, that that stronghold, the point about the assertion that Michael wasn't running until Bridget get on. We appreciate the political strategy of that, but that is it's okay. I'm thinking about something in real time. Is there really that much of a change of a dynamic if Michael stayed on? Because if Michael ran, it would have been Michael and Aaron, and Lucy and Julia.
Yeah,
that would have been those would have been the four.
Right, and you would still have Frank Baker's seat still with with Fitzgerald in the lead.
And he can go either way, Carlos. Depending.
You believe that?
What? That he can go either way?
In terms of whether he can win tonight or what?
No. I'm talking about his vote now.
Oh no, I think his vote will be just as conservative as Maureen Feeney's or Frank Baker's.
I've heard that he is malleable. We know his cousin Ryan. That type of influence in that history of old school politics from which he comes. I heard on some issues he's a little more malleable.
Listen, I can appreciate that, and I'm not going to refute that because I don't know. But everybody's malleable when they haven't been elected.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow, they'll be a lot less malleable than they were yesterday.
Well, it was in the context of if getting elected, he would be more that. But don't forget, folks, and with all due, we are talking to a former elected official that knows this stuff. So let's just appreciate that.
I'm just saying, your vote means less to me the day after the election than it does to me the day before. That's all I'm saying. So when I'm courting you for your vote, I'm more likely to say anything. Whether I can prove it to you 2 years later after I've served a term is a different story. So I get it. Give people their first chance when you're electing somebody new. But once someone's running for re-election, you got to compare their notes, their promises to what they actually did.
I just
shout out to the rep right there.
I was getting ready.
And I see them both.
We definitely want to honor the Honorable Christopher Wells, State Representative for District 5, who was in the building.
The 5th Suffolk. That's right.
Suffolk. Oh, well, 5th Suffolk. Okay. And I get.
That's a successor right there. You know what I'm saying?
Carlos is like, get it right.
There's a lineage here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So thank you for the fact that there is. So if anything, wow, Fitzgerald is almost a Frank. So am I realizing in real time and speaking with you that my concern may not be as valid?
I think so. And I think you're concerned that it seems like white Irish Catholics in Boston have a strong political pipeline where they actually think about their tribe and reach back to make sure that politically that they're covered and their interests are covered, that there's someone that's going to vote like them, that might look like them, that might come from a community that looks like theirs, that might have police and other people in high positions that depend on their vote. That pipeline, I think, is a beautiful thing. I wish we would emulate it. I wish we would.
And that's where I know you were going. And so let's go a little bit there and talk about Carlos, where that's something that you did. You if you allow me to assert a little bit, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, but the rep defeated my pipeline, my aide that was coming out of the pipeline.
I was getting ready to say
he defeated him in battle. So but you still create the pipeline. You know what I'm saying? You still have others that you place. Not everybody runs for office. Some become chiefs of offices, some become union workers.
The mayor. Like, come on, let's keep it 100. Right. And with all due, not to take away his own merit, let's just credit the pipeline in which you inserted him. You know what I'm saying? And so it is absolutely the political strategies that we just talked about. Let's talk a little bit about bullet voting. I put a little bit out there about the fact that we needed to vote black and brown only. But before I get to that, because I can stand to be corrected. Aisha and Lauren got me the other day because I had put a post up that Aaron, I was right and wrong. I said that my point was that Erin's entrance onto the council was not via election. She didn't get elected. Right. I left it hanging a little bit, but in 21, she actually did after all of the thing when Alejandra said she wouldn't take it. So I can be corrected. I'm hearing from you that my concern about the philosophy and the construct of the council may not be changing that much.
It may not. But you might be thinking to yourself, how come we're not being as strategic as they are?
I'll be honest with you. The intentional thought, I haven't had that hard thought about that, Carlos. And I'll say to you in real time is probably because from nonprofit leadership to elected officials to pastors, that's something I don't want to get far off, but that we don't do well with intentional relationship for intentional succession. We just don't. Right. And that's we
hold on to it forever. But I mean, so to your point, I do think there is some loss and some gain in elections, right? You get a different leader, you get different ideas, you get different people pulling different strings. It's a shift. So, but on the surface level, if we're talking about just surface, which we are when we're talking about diversity and inclusion to a certain degree. You lose Ricardo Arroyo, a Latino man on the Boston City Council in District 5, but he will be replaced by a Latino man on the Boston City Council in District 5.
Hold on. I'm getting numbers text. Keep talking, brother.
So, you're going to lose the individual as an operator, as an advocate, as a leader. But the diversity stays the same in that aspect. You will lose a woman of color in Kemper. Go ahead, newsflash it. Go ahead.
No. We just got a camp, a very reliable camp's access to their reporting sheet.
We'll see how good. Let's see how ahead of the mayor's are. Is it an at-large camp? If it ain't an at-large camp, well, it doesn't matter. I don't want to belittle a district camp. I'm a district kid.
Listen, let brother. You know, I would not be getting excited.
You can always tell the solidness of a camp depending on how well their number reporting is and how fast it comes in.
Okay. So right now, as of right now, this is a live sheet. Let me just refresh real quick. Ruth Z is top billing. Erin Murphy, Julia Mejia, and Henry Santana. Hold on, Henry. Okay, hold on. I'm going.
Yo, you gotta count. You gotta say how many votes are in before you start throwing the victory hands up and shouting.
Victory hands. I'm trying to hold on. Here we go.
This is after dark. This ain't the doors to the church are now open.
156 out of 275 precincts.
Okay, that's solid. It's not a lock. It's not a lock yet, but that's strong.
You got a pen? Let me give you some numbers.
No. Let me use my. Go ahead.
So Erin Murphy currently 29,200.
Okay.
Ruth Z, let me do it in order. Ruth Z top billing so far at 156 reporting, 29,750. Erin Murphy, 29,300. Julia Mejia, 2,600. Henry Santana, 2,200. And then I got to go. We're going to go in the wards and precincts and who voted because that's where the gaps in the holes. I need one of them CNN wards, Carlos, because we'll see where the wards and precincts we're waiting for.
I thought you would have. That's why I brought my glasses because I thought you were going to have one of those up. All the
I don't
shows
have
you've been
one
doing.
of those up, but this is better. Hold on. Is this better than what the city of Boston is?
So 1 and 2 are about 300 votes apart. 2 and 3 are about 3,000 votes apart.
Yep.
And 3 and 4 are about 4,000 votes apart.
No. 3 and 4, 22 to 17. Bridget is 17,850. And Henry is 22.
It's Bridget and Henry back and forth.
Bridget and Henry. So we need to go and
we could have called that. I could have told you that in June, July.
Everybody's been saying, been saying that. It's so interesting because the city hasn't got the numbers up yet. I need to.
What'll really be interesting about the numbers that you won't get tonight. I mean, you'll get some of it now because you're getting that good reporting. But what most people won't get tonight is the ward and precinct breakdown, where you can find out what neighborhoods like certain types of people for city councilors and what neighborhoods don't like certain type of people for city council.
So where do we need to look right now? All right. Let's talk South Boston. Give me the ward.
District 2.
2? District Ward 2? Don't forget we had some redistricting since you left.
Man, you're gonna walk me through wards. I don't think it's Ward 2.
Why are you sending Christopher?
It's professional courtesy. Professional courtesy. Listen,
Chris,
we're members of a very exclusive club.
If I told you,
you thought you was the only one getting numbers. You thought you was the only one. People, let me get my device. Let me get my large devices up.
He's talking about Chris. My numbers. The thing I got access to, brother. You probably tapped into the same one. So
he should be sitting in the Eagle room if he knows what's good for. But anyway,
not in the Eagle room. The boiler room is never in.
Well, a couple rooms down the hallway in a little quiet waiting room. Lucy.
If any Menino alum is on here, chime in.
Yeah, you know how Menino used to do it.
Dog.
So Fitzy's running away with it. Pepin's in the lead. You got these numbers? How come you ain't read these numbers out? That's why people are tuned in, man.
Because I am trying to get to. I don't remember my wards and precincts.
You teasing it out. Bust a map up. Let me get a map open. Somebody send him a map.
These are all numbers. It's not a map.
I know, but if you have to have a map to correlate it with.
Where's Jed?
You know what I mean? So we know Ward 1. It starts in Charlestown, and I got to get a map, man.
Bring out the big device.
Put your
glasses on. All right, so in Ward 1 right now,
you got a whole cult behind you. You're supposed to have all this stuff.
I didn't.
Up here popping.
So I text Carlos earlier, y'all, and I was like, this year for some reason I had personal stuff going on, moving and all.
Asked you about this 3 months ago.
Oh, you just choosing violence. Okay, so total. They got the locations and everything. So I just need to see.
Oh, look at Ben Weber whooping on King.
And that's Ward.
That's District 6.
Are you what freaking?
Sorry, I'm skipping around, man. I'm trying to get a map at the same time. I'm looking for a map, and
On numbers.
I'm reading the numbers. I'm multitasking.
Okay.
You
I'm going back to the
fill up
overview and refresh.
the dead air as everybody else is looking for numbers now
Group
too.
C currently is at 30,200. Erin Murphy is at 29,750. Julia is at 26. There's only 4 more precincts called in. And Julia is at 26,400, and Henry Santana is at 23, and Bridget is at 18. So he's picking up a slight lead. We may not have a map, but if you give me a second without fussing, I can go into. Oh, wait a minute. So Carlos, you know that I'm never the map guy. It's freaking
You can bring up a map, like they got it on the cityofboston.gov or BDPA somewhere on one of their
But
sites.
no, remember, all I would do was commentate, and then you and what's
Here we
his
go.
brother's name? You and Anthony. Where's it? I'm about to text and call
Here we
Anthony
go.
and Jed.
Cityofboston.gov has, at least they have the future map, so we can at least work off the future. Some few precincts will be changing.
They already did.
I
As
thought
a
it did.
Preliminary. No, there was a whole bunch of confusion.
Yeah, I remember hearing about the confusion, but I don't remember anybody coming up with a solution or a statement to get it ironed out.
Where did you get the map?
I got it from the City of Boston, Future City Council District Representation 2024. Boston.maps. Cityofboston.gov government page.
That's a gift.
I mean, let's get sassy, but ain't got a map up on screen yet. I don't get it.
Oh, we being. Okay.
I don't get it. Anyway, it doesn't have the wards and precincts. I'm let down by this map too.
Okay. So I have a sheet here, Boston. Okay.
Throw him out there. We'll start guessing, and if the rep is watching, he can correct us. He's much more thorough than either one of us are right now.
It as far as his map. I love you, Chris.
I mean, as far as right now, I meant like at 9:11 p.m. I didn't mean like every day he got us. You know what I'm saying? I mean like at this moment he might be sharper than us right now.
Okay, so let's see if the city put anything up yet. So Carlos, just a couple of things. Turnout seems like it was a little bit much. So District 7 right now with 160 precincts reporting. Let's go to District 7. Tanya Fernandez Anderson, 64%. Althea Garrison, 35%. Oh, let's talk a little.
But look at the numbers though.
7.
How many precincts are reporting in that? Do you have that?
160 out of 275.
Okay.
So that's just over half.
But just look at that and compare it to District 6 and District 5.
Hold on.
Now I know the race doesn't have two strong candidates in it. As a lot of people don't take the candidacy of Althea very seriously.
Right.
But still casting a ballot, the difference of people casting ballots in District 5, where there's over 9,000 people have voted, in District 6, where 15,000 people have voted.
Yep.
And we haven't even got 1,100, 1,200. And
well, even up in Mattapan, I was 70 in my precinct. So let's go there, Carlos. This is After Dark. And I know it's done in a manner where it's in love, but we've had this conversation about turnout and about but not so much on community. It's also, I had asked somebody, why was no one sounding the alarm about the potential? You did sort of help me dissipate my concern about the philosophy of the council changing. Fitzgerald becomes Baker, Santana becomes Ricardo, and then where's there another switch?
You lost. You're gonna lose Kendra, Councilor Laura.
Now
she's gonna
this
be replaced
Weber
by
guy,
Weber or King.
Now I heard that Weber is kind of, I ain't done my research. I'm not in that district. Kind of progressive. King had more, name. I think this is his second or third run. Third run. And they say third time's a charm. And so,
for me.
Yeah, yep. So what have your thoughts by your observation? What have you heard about Weber?
I sat in on a couple of candidate forums earlier in the summer and watched both of them, and I thought that they both, as candidates, as a consultant looking in, I thought they both needed a lot of work. They definitely varied on some viewpoints in terms of how they I guess, play to the middle. And like again, everybody, I feel like a lot of people play to the middle. Not a lot of people are going to say something like Bridget Knee Walsh and say Black Lives Matter set us back 50 years. Not everybody's going to just take their hood off and say, hey, this is who I am. Look at me. But I respect it. Stand on 10 toes down. So
I'm hitting next. Weber is the best.
I was more impressed by Weber's resume. I like that he was his law work was rooted in cases around fairness and justice, whether it was for farm workers, whether it was for police officers. So that gave me a lean that his work leans that way. King, I wasn't impressed by his answers. I wasn't impressed by his presentation, especially for someone that's been a candidate third time around and who touted himself as a son of the city. He still didn't really have a lot of good grasp, or wasn't able to articulate his good grasp of the issues when I heard from him.
We just got a prediction, and this is affirmed by a union type folk, that Pepin took 5.
Shout out the young man, 27 years old.
27 years old. And let's just also name that he was supported by me. So Michelle's on the ballot tonight as well.
I'm hoping. I mean, Fitzy's gonna win. I was gonna say because Marty, no one that Marty backed up wins. Like, what's going on? But Fitzy will win tonight. So Marty.
But he wasn't. Let's keep it 100. Marty wasn't as engaged, I don't think, with it. He may have thrown money, face, name, and support, but I don't know if he was as in like on the ground engaged. I mean, money stuff makes a influence.
He knocked doors with them. He
knocked doors with him, sir.
I mean, that's if you knock doors with somebody, you're on the ground with them. That's as engaged as you can get. Okay. But I mean, it's a tough race, like you said, with a former mayor and a mayor in the background looming. Who pulls out more favors? Who can pull more strings? Obviously, political clout. A current mayor usually holds more clout than a former mayor, unless that former mayor was connected somewhere else or had more leeway somewhere. So. You know what I'm saying? He was outside. I know my sources are pretty good still, too.
Wait, hold on. Susan said, Susan, right? Susan said Michelle delivered.
I mean, any mayor, and I'm not just pointing this at Mayor Wu, because we come from the Menino era and even a little bit of the Flint era. You call in favors. You want again, a lot of other communities, aside from ours, are very good about getting allies, creating a pipeline for allies, moving their agenda forward strategically. So if Mayor Wu has an agenda for the next 2 years as she seeks re-election or just to finish out her first term, it makes sense for her to have allies on the city council. Anyone that wants to move any policy or budget in the city of Boston, whether they're a sitting elected official or a resident, a church leader or a resident on whatever street, it's good to have allies on the Boston City Council. So everybody's using this. Almost everybody's using the strategy.
So let me keep it 100.
Almost.
I'm not repeating anything that was said. I said to one of the people to which you referred just 2 minutes ago.
Man, I referred to a lot of people.
No.
Oh, okay, I got it. I don't know why you be trying to allude to stuff, but it'd be so obvious. But go ahead. It
can't be said that I said it.
I hear you.
I said to one of the people, I said, are you stacking the council? And the response was,
I mean,
but politically, you just named it. Come on, Menino, you did not. What you call it? I was
a state rep. I was stacking the council. Menino was trying to stack the council. This is gonna sound crazy in this context.
I know the story, but go ahead.
We backed me, Marty, Linda Dorsina Forey, backed Frank and Nick Collins, backed Frank Baker over Jim O'Toole because Jim O'Toole was Mayor Menino's candidate and he was stacking the council. Now he wasn't the same Frank Baker that you guys have today. He wasn't Red Cup Frank Baker. He was still, Frank the Baker's dozen. You know what I'm saying? That he's one of the 12 or 13 siblings from Savin Hill of the Bakers, and he was a neighborhood dude. So those kind of, they say politics make strange bedfellows. That's what they mean. Sometimes your ally can be your ally one day and be your enemy in the next term, but you have to play it strategically for what works for you and your people on that day.
So, all right. Enrique is definitely confirmed in 5. I'm getting multiple.
Your thing is good. Where's his election night party for the party chasers?
The predictions are as follows: Ben Weber in District 6 for sure, Enrique in District 5, and Santana for the 4th seat. on the at-large.
You celebrated too early before. I don't believe it till I see it.
When I
What's the margin?
if I
Don't put anybody out there. I don't want
I'm
you to
not
out your
putting nobody out
sources.
there. Carlos, look at the screen.
All right, it's 3%. It's a 3% different. Okay, I see it. I see it. Oh yeah. He pulled away. Nice. Is he? How close is he to Councilor Mejia? He's right on Mejia's heels.
He's
Boy,
right
oh
on the heels.
boy.
So, did you know there was speculation that, and I came straight out and asked Henry this. There was speculation from some that they were putting Henry in to take Julia out.
Oh, why? Because they're both of Dominican descent.
There was that speculation.
I mean, you could have more than one Dominican on the Boston City Council. You could have more than one Latino or Latina on the City Council.
Hold on, look who's in the room.
Check out old school. I love when the old heads.
Susan, we got Ramon.
He need to update that Indeed photo because I know that's not current. I know that's at least 5 years old. I'm not the only one that's turned gray out here.
We also want to honor a former candidate, a very viable candidate.
Incredible candidate and leader.
Rosette Williams, who is in the building today. Good to see you in the room, sis. Here's what you call it. Ramon's getting all the love right now. All right, so right now we have 100. What the precincts of? So let's explain this. There is sort of a public sheet. There's the city sheet.
Wait, can we not? I don't want to get. Can we not lose that? I don't want to move past that point because we're talking about a lot of tribal issues tonight. And now our tribe seems to do this when I don't see other tribes do it. We've had a Puerto Rican man on the city council. We've had 2 Puerto Rican men on the city council. We've had a Dominican woman on the city council. And we always feel like there's only room for, and I'm not sure what ethnicity Councilor Laura was. I know she's of Latina descent.
Yep.
But we have this thing like there's only so many spots. Like we got one Latino spot, we got one black spot, we got one West Indian spot, and we keep carving our large number down into these little, which is our diaspora, but it's still these smaller groups. Why couldn't we have more? Like you never hear in Boston, you never hear white Irish Catholics saying, we already have a white Irish Catholic man on the city council at Flynn. We don't need a Flaherty. We don't need a Baker. We don't need a Fitzgerald. You don't hear them saying that. You don't hear anybody going, oh, they're putting a Fitzgerald in there to knock out an O'Toole. Nah, they don't. It's not like that. So I want us to think past that. Like a competitor is a competitor. Just because they have a similar ethnic descent doesn't mean that they are planted to come for you. I mean, I'm more concerned about how close that number is because she's a 2-term incumbent, and a new challenger running up on your heels either means you have some room to grow, or you're falling back. You might be falling back the wrong way, or this is an incredible candidate with an incredible machine.
Let's go to the numbers real quick. So right now, Ruth C. and Aaron are almost at neck 20.76% for Ruth C. and 20.2% for Aaron. And then for Julia, she's at 17%. I'll give you the numbers in a second. And then here comes Santana at 15%. And then Bridget Lee is at 12%. So there's 3% difference between Bridget and Santana right now. I'm just clarifying one thing on these predictions I got.
What wards have checked in? Like is Ward 10, is Ward 7 in, or Ward 20 in? Is Ward 21 in?
Ward 10 right now has, this looks like precincts 167. Ward 10 has 9 of their precincts in. Ward 10, where's that? Southie?
Parts of Southie, yeah.
The good thing for at large right now, Ward 12, which is predominantly black and brown, right? 12 is
the heart is Roxbury. 12 is District 7. 12 is Roxbury.
Only reported 2%. 2 precincts out of 12.
So you'll probably see numbers shoot up for a Ruthie, for a Mejia,
and Henry.
Pardon me, Louisiana. Let me stop calling these councilors by their first names, like we had a night spot. The honorable counselors. So yeah, you'll see certain numbers go up, and when those get counted.
Okay. So precincts in one. Ward 2 only has 1 precinct. That's interesting. That must be over on the island.
Re-precincting really needs to get done too.
All right. So the latest thing I see is Ward 10. Ward 10 is Mission Hill, from what Ramon said.
Oh, that one Ward 10?
Is it Ward 8 that's South Boston?
Ward 8 has a little bit of Roxbury in it, going down through this.
Where's South Boston?
Through OP. Come on, Ramon. You ran at large. Where are the people that ran at large?
I can tell you Ward 8 is Cathedral, Pine Street, Orchard.
Yeah, OP.
All right, so right now,
Ramon ran at large too. He's supposed to know all the wards, and this is why I never wanted to run at large, because you have to really memorize and know all these. Ward 14, the super black.
Ward 14.
12, 14, 17. See, that's what I'm talking about. A black rep representing a black district knows that 12, 14, 17
I just said that.
Are where black. Oh, everybody knows that. That's what black people know. But I'm talking about the other districts.
All right, District 6 and 7, Ramon just said. So right now in District 6 and 7, I am not the Excel map guy, but hold on, give me a second.
I think he's telling you Ward 6 and 7.
MHP is in 7. Mission Hill. Oh, so what are you, Ramon? Where is Southie?
Ramon, update your Indeed photo.
You are wrong, brother. You are wrong. All right. So as far as like the pipeline, Carlos, what are the ideas you have? Because I don't want nobody going back saying, "Oh, we just fussed about." But they're currently there. So our generation didn't. I'm not aware that did a whole bunch of intentional reaching back. You remember, I used to be a wild one, talking about we going to take the torch and whatnot, more on the faith-based side, a little bit on the politics. But I can't point to outside of Chuck and Darren.
Well, let's define the generation, right? Our generation is Generation X. We're born between 1965 and 1980, 81, 82. So we're all in between like 40 to 55, something like that. Maybe almost as old as 60. Some of us have held different positions, not in all elected offices. Some of us have been in appointed offices and whatnot. I think there's been some of us that have inspired others, but I don't think that there's been enough to really employ, train, interact with on a regular with others in the city. Young youth groups. So we do the. And I don't want to speak for everybody. Matter of fact, I see the rep doing a good job of it, and his brother as well, the counselor. But enough where we're engaging and really teaching them politics and really organizing and really pouring into them at a young age, so they can decide by 26 or 27. For instance, Enrique worked for Councilor Jackson, so there's a good example. That's a pipeline. Where getting that experience at 17, 18 years old, working for a city councilor, exposed him to it. By the time he's age 27, he's now going to be a sitting city councilor. So there are examples of it. I just think we haven't been doing it as long as them. So I kind of beat up on us when I'm talking like that. We haven't been doing it as long as them because we haven't been in the political game as long as them. Okay. But the example is there. So it's not there. It's not hidden from us anymore. We need to grab it and make it happen. We need to, there you go, Ward 6 and 7 with the wards. We need to actually pour more into it. There's no reason why we're not really engaged with our young people like that. The millennials are going to skip right by us. I think the millennials are running City Hall now is the talk of the town. And then it'll be a Generation X is kind of like being slid right by. And that's cool.
And but can I be 100? That's been our generation's experience. I went from trying to take the torch to one point sitting back and pushing your Tony Richards, your others of that generation, because we got kind of skipped a little bit. I think that I'm 52. How old are you? 50.
Who's 50?
You.
Who's 50? You better sit there. I'm 46 years old. What's wrong with you? Telling these people 47, born in 76. I'm a bicentennial baby. They'll drag me down to no rhinestone birthday. Well, what I'm saying is yes, in some ways some people kept their head down. Some people, I went to Chuck. I saw my father in the community. I saw other older men in the community. I asked for mentorship. And when they said, we're not going to mentor you, I said, then I'm going to run against you. And we ran and did it respectfully and got my butt kicked a couple of times and learned a lot more and stayed at it. Like, in Boston, I don't think politically people not everybody had that wherewithal. Like I started very young. I was trained very young by Doris Bunty, by Dr. Joseph Warren, others that had already instilled in me that to really run for offices, death, dishonor, or defeat, you have to be prepared to run more than once. A lot of people aren't prepared to run more than once, and it's not an easy thing. A lot of people fall into the fantasy, like Felix Arroyo and Ayanna Presley made it really look easy. You know what I'm saying? They hopped out there first time, and they was like, oh! And everybody was like, oh, I'm inspired to run my... and then Julia Mejia did it. And I'm looking at them like, you mother... I'm out here on my third try. I've been eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and pizza for 3 years straight. But however you get there, you got to get there, to be able to make that change. And I think a lot of us from our generation just was like, we saw what our parents went through. We didn't want to go through it, and we just kind of checked out of it. And that's cool. Just pour into the millennials, and you don't have to be in front. You can lead from the back or the middle. You can push behind somebody and mentor them from behind and say you should do this or do that or consider that and look out for that. You don't have to be, waving the flag saying here I am.
Do you remember a question you asked me in my kitchen a few years ago when I was considering running for office?
If you said that, I probably asked you, "Are you crazy?"
No.
You don't have nothing better
Stephanie
to do.
Asked me, and we got to just raise the fact that our sister has been appointed to a great position. We haven't been on together.
Sister Register, that's right.
Sister Register. He said sister. How about
sister? That's her new nickname right there, Sister Register. That's what I'm calling her from now on. We're talking about the Registry of Probate and Family Court, Stephanie Everett Esquire, an amazing community leader. But yeah, I think I asked you, what did you want to do? Like what was your lane? What did you feel like your lane was?
What you asked me, did I want to be king or
kingmaker? Right.
And I sat there that day and I was like, I'd rather be a kingmaker. Because the king, you're if it's similar to what we're talking about with any active mayor, but right now, Michelle, that allegiance and alliance that she's going to have with let's just name Henriquez. Suzanne Durkin was on the campaign side for some years, so there's 2 votes there. Santana is 3 votes. Who else?
Look at you counting the votes.
Roofsy, 4 votes. And let's just name that Roofsy was also. Roofsy is very. Let's keep it 100. Anybody that taught, because this is where it came from when Ayanna. Did Ayanna top Bill first time out? She top billed, I think, first time out. Because I remember I was sitting on the floor. I remember John Conley took her around and helped her. John Conley came in he was like, congratulations, and left.
Yeah. I think she topped the ticket every time she ran, didn't she?
I know the first 2 because I remember it was the third or at least 3. And then that time and when she didn't, I was like, oh my God. So she did top bill her first time out. But and
that'll shape the narrative too. That's going to shape the narrative of Ruthie being a potential successor for mayor. But those rumors are already out there, and those rumors are already out there for Aaron as well. Those rumors exist for anyone elected to the Boston. There's an old saying in Boston that says anyone that's dreamt of being a Boston city councilor has dreamt of being a mayor.
Being a mayor, and especially if you run at large, because Tito was a perfect example. Tito was at large, but he was when he
ran at large first and finished 5th,
and then he got district right. But Tito still functioned as almost like an at-large counselor.
And that cuts both ways. I mean, that helps when you're running for mayor, but it can piss off your base if they feel like you're not around enough. Right.
Yep. The other piece, let me just go to the numbers. So I didn't know Susan had to go for. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, Susan is good. She did have.
There was no
irregular.
doubt there.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot she had to go again. So these numbers are not changing in this sheet. So there's been some sort of halt somewhere. So either people are declaring and people stop reporting. The city.
How are our fringe candidates doing? Without naming them, if possible, how are our anti-vax community advocate?
I wish. Now this is one time, and I Chip Goins has been going in on a few of them. 4%, and I don't know why somebody put that in red, which is terrible.
This is my social studies experience. I'm really curious about the actual number. Like, did they get 8,000 people vote for them?
Which is interesting in this city for someone who is very interesting. She got 6,100 votes. Catherine Vitale.
6,100 people voted for her.
Sean Nelson, 7,200.
7,200 people voted for him. Wow.
All right. So right now the numbers are still stagnant at 20.
I wonder if those are like fourth votes. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're voting for, like when the number, and this is something that people will do when they look at the numbers, at least the super geeks will. I got to call my man Jed. They'll look to see like in the same neighborhood where Aaron did well, is that where Bridget did well? And is that also where Catherine and Sean Brown did well?
Yes, and let's
And
also name that. Let's talk. We didn't talk about this too much. District 7.
I would just blank them. I can't see throwing them a third and fourth vote.
My poll said what you call it to tell.
Even if I voted for Aaron, exactly. That's the feeling I had. Even if I voted for Aaron and Bridget, I can't see throwing a third or fourth vote there. I can't.
So, I hate when the thing gets stalled and there's no updates. I need somebody to what you call it.
She was talking, yeah.
Look. Unless somebody tuned in and cut my access off.
Well, you're leaking your sources.
Let me see on the city. Well, this one was wait a minute. Hold on. Almost messed up. I am trying to see what the city. They're only at total 11% reporting.
That's very low still. Another good conversation that should be starting soon for those that are following politics is who's going to become the city council president. City council president Ed Flynn is at the end of his term. There'll be a new city council president in January.
Who's going to try to vie for it?
Well, there's a couple people who could vie for it, but that person will determine who leads and sits on what committees. That person will be able to raise a lot of money as the mayor enters into a mayoral campaign. I don't think the mayor's expecting any challenger from the council in 25, right? I don't think if I'm Mayor Wu, I'm not expecting a Councilor Lucian or even I can't rule out a Councilor Murphy run. I can't rule it out, but she'd be so far behind in money. No, because the money. See, what people don't peep is the money gap, right? You're talking about.
Yeah, real quick. Hold on, keep talking, brother.
You're talking about Mayor Wu probably has a 1, maybe 2 million in the bank, right? And Councilor Murphy has probably spent down her for GOTV mail. I think she was at 60 a couple of days ago, maybe last week. So she's probably down to like 20 grand. So you're talking about 2 million to 20 grand. And they're both going to be elected, but Mayor Wu will still be Mayor Wu for the next 2 years. She can raise another $2 million. Marty is still trying to spend money that he raised 3 years ago.
Marty, I think, about to run for governor.
I'm sure Mayor Menino's OCPF account is still more flush than almost every city councilor that ran this term. Like mayors raise incredible amounts of money from wealthy people, from billionaires, from multi-millionaire developers, from you name it, they get it. And that's how they can dominate airtime. That's how they can send you a lot of pieces of mail to your door. That's how they can get billboards covered. That's how they can do all these things through money. So I don't think Aaron could chase her down money wise. And unless Aaron tops the ticket, you can count that out. And Aaron ain't gonna be president. And Aaron is not gonna be president of the city council either. Hold
on. I need to tell you something.
How many hold ons was that?
8/17/23. Missing reimbursement reports. 8/17/23. Excessive contributions received. 7/19/23. Missing reimbursement report. 7/19/23. Clarification of expenditure to vendor requested. 1/12 to Miss Aaron was had some interesting things going on in her
OCPF. You'd be surprised. Almost every counselor does. And I'm not upplaying or downplaying.
Official does, because there was some stuff I've seen of friends, and I was like, oh.
Myself included. I used to report late, had to pay a $25 a day fine. Sometimes you miss something. You're in the heat of action. You're running around paying bills. You're swiping things, and you miss it. If you catch up, you're cool.
So Aaron has 160,000 on hand as of a week ago, 10/31. So then let's go and look at who are we looking at?
Wow, that's good, because that means she probably already paid for her mail, unless she has an invoice due.
She probably has an invoice last week. Well, she probably did one to come out last week. Hold on. We got the folks on LinkedIn. Marvin Vinay's in the building.
Yeah, errors are par for the course. He got to update his Indeed photo too. You're a multi-platform. You got people pulling in from their
Oh, listen,
Indeed
we got the
photos.
website, we got YouTube, we got LinkedIn, we got Facebook Jimmy, we got Facebook Java.
Yeah,
Uh,
but people make there are accounting errors. Now there's differences between at that level or when you see a candidate that's only raised $800 and all that $800 has been spent at McDonald's or
hold
Uber
on.
or then that's a different kind of that then OCPF looks a little bit differently into that because you can't spend money on yourselves. But that stuff happens too.
You about to make me go. As you said. All right, let's look at Michelle.
These are the things I wish people. I mean, as much as we track NBA, NFL, love and hip hop, I know we just. It seems like we're keying and just having
No,
cocktail hour. But this is the stuff. In my opinion, if we're gonna gossip, if we're gonna talk shop, we should talk about this stuff because this is what actually affects people's day-to-day lives.
you're District 9. We just
That's
numbers
Jacob Bellancourt and Reardon, right? Reardon.
Yep.
Reardon's gonna win that one. The incumbents are hard to beat in Boston.
Yeah. She had a lot to do with that redistricting. And let's talk about that for a minute too. Do you think either Michelle or just the council through Roof see that alley-oop? Because she came in with the rescue for redistricting. I mean, now she'll say probably not by herself, listening to community.
I would hope not, because no one does it by themselves.
Right. But right? I mean,
it's really people like Anthony Collins and others of that ilk that are in a room drawing lines and crunching numbers and then presenting it to you and saying this is what this means. I wouldn't say it's an alley-oop because I shouldn't say they had to get sued. They did get sued and had to make changes to the map. Is it a win? I don't know how much voters that voted today, at the end of the day, how much did voters today care about redistricting? Probably not that much. So while it's a win and you could tout it, you can only tout that in certain rooms. Like people still want their kids to get to school on time. People still want their pipe water to be safe in their kids' school. People still want their community center open later hours so that their kid can go somewhere after school while they work their second job. Like people are concerned and consumed with day-to-day things, and I think that's where the information and the conversation is missing between elected leaders, appointed leaders, and constituents. I think that's why you're getting a 13, 14% turnout, because people are checked out. I think as much as we try to put it on voters and apathy, it's also a failure of leadership. If you can't motivate your people, if you can't get out the very same people you advocate for, you can't get in front of them and say, I need you to show up on one day for a couple of minutes. Literally. If you can't produce that kind of relationship in your community, then how much hope should we have in your leadership? And that goes for anybody.
The thing that is so interesting is not only leadership of elected officials, but someone had asked me, one of the elders was like, where are the organizations that move in equity, that move in voter education, that move in remember we used to get frustrated. I don't know if you were active then. Maybe we weren't as frustrated with you. But you know how we get this June 12th rush to go to the State House to advocate for the budget?
Yeah, the last bill, they're trying to rush everything through the House before we go to break for summer.
Monthly engagement, make sure you go out to vote.
But that's my point. And not just organizations, but the actual how about the people? And I think this actually goes back to your point. A lot of what I think you're missing is Generation X. Because Generation X has kind of kept their head down, or in some ways been passed over. I think you see the boomers and you see millennials in these spaces, right? If you go to your neighborhood association, if the rep is still on, confirm this if I'm wrong, but if you go to your neighborhood association meetings, you don't really see that X. You see boomers.
Look, it's Barbara and millennials. It's Barbara Criswell and Carrie Mays.
Right. And then one of us are sticking our nose in the room just so we can say
we there because we live and commenting
because we one of the few from our generation. So
why is that? Do you think? Seriously,
I mean, I think it could be a myriad of different things. When I get into my deep things, I think if you grew up watching your parents lose their leaders, and I'm not sure we watched. I think we watched was probably a trauma reaction if we got to watch it, right? Our parents, I've never even heard, as politically astute household as I grew up in, I never heard my parents emotionally talk about what it was like to witness 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 assassinations of national leaders that look like them in a decade. I don't. That takes a toll. That takes a toll. If the dreamers of your generation were murked right in front of your eyes. I'm not talking about Biggie and Tupac, no disrespect, but I mean the dreamers, the leaders were getting killed, getting assassinated. It might pull you back and like, you know what, I need to take care of me and mine.
Now,
and if that was them, that's definitely us.
Yeah, but I think they saw that, and then maybe they led out of their trauma. I don't think we saw as much of the killing of them in Martin Luther King in the 60s and 70s. Especially you. I was 71.
Then we just you was probably out there marching and shoveling snow in the blizzard. But us younger folks,
I remember the first day of the blizzard. Shut up.
God damn.
At the PA shot, the teacher was on the stairs. My mother walked us across the street, and the teacher was on the stairs talking about, because we didn't have the internet and phone, and we had phone, but she was on the stairs talking about no school, no school. Shut up, Carlos. And we had to put the orange juice and the stuff in the snow that was up to the window because electricity went out to keep the stuff cold. I remember.
I was too. I just think we just don't. Maybe we just don't give a. You know what I'm saying? We just don't care. Maybe we just don't care.
It's so interesting because when you thought about that, I thought about a community meeting right now, and the few that I've been to, it is the seniors and the millennials. There's not a lot of that 45 to 55.
We also don't tolerate a lot of BS, and to be at these community meetings, I'm not gonna lie, because we have to dark to be at the thousands and thousands of community meetings I've been to. It takes a lot of energy out of you. You're listening to people's trauma, whether it's misconstrued or not. You know, that people get up and testify and in their testimonials are talking about, you know, some of the darkest days in our community. There's never really a solution or a plan to work towards a solution. And so you're giving of your physical time, you're traveling there, your energy, you know, you're pushing your dinner back, you're lending your energy in that room. It takes it out of you. And not everybody wants to sit and play Groundhog's Day and listen to the same rhetoric without there being an action plan or any solution. So I think that wears down on us, Generation X, pretty quickly. And we were just like, yo, I'm good. Like, nothing changes. It's everything remains the same. So I'm good. I don't need to do that.
It's just interesting when you said that, because I thought about the fact I realized one day that I just had to like give up and move to the background because trying to get it from the older generation and then feeling like we're holding up the next, because we don't want to do to them what was done to us. There wasn't a whole lot of intention that I've observed, a whole lot of intentional reach back.
Some of us don't. Some of us are perfectly happy with being the old guard and telling the young people to stay in their place. Don't shake it up too much. Pay your respect, pay homage, etc., etc. Some of us are still like that. Ramon's right, and people got kids, right? Ain't nobody got time to be going to community meetings.
Well,
right?
See, yeah.
I mean, but that's real. Like, my father was a track coach and went to a lot of community meetings. I know what it's like to be a kid and be like, damn, I wish my pops was home. Not all fathers, and it caused resentment between me and my father and my brother and my father. You know, he was running a track organization, going to community meetings at DSNI. Not every parent wants to make that sacrifice of their time away from their family. Yeah. That's a lot. We do need some more to do it, but not. And I gotta respect it when they say, nah, not my household.
That's the interesting thing too, because we've talked about this before. A lot of the leading, the work, it's cyclical among a few. And I don't know if that's intentional.
It's problematic. It's problematic is what it is. It's
definitely problematic because you get stressed out, you get overtaxed, you get it. There's expectations. You get seen as the same old, and so and
his ego and I don't want to leave that out because I don't want to make it seem like we're all set up for sainthood either. Sometimes because we come into politics and this work with a lack mentality, like we're lacking and we need more of. So that's what makes us think there's only so many spots. And once I get in this space, this is my space. I'm the community advocate. I own this tag, and I don't want anybody else in this room because they're putting me on a pedestal. And I ain't never been up this high before, and it's really nice.
You better
and now don't come. Don't come up here, man. Is this room for one? We get like that because our egos have never been fed in that way, whether it's through elected leadership or community leadership, whether it's with the chair of the meeting. Oh, no, no, no. And then you're gaveling down a little old lady who wants to tell you about a problem. Our egos are often a block to our progress.
Someone said that egos is edging God out, edging good out. That's what egos do. It's interesting. We can call a lot of these majors, Carlos.
Call them.
We can call them.
Call them.
I should have
another drink.
I got confirmation that so it was a Wu Train this election. All of her candidates. I didn't know she was.
So that means the bigots are going to be going nuts on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Boss Polly, the bigots, they're gonna be so mad at Henry Santana. They're gonna be heated that he's on there. Another brown face for you.
I want Henry to do his whole acceptance or his first thing on the council in Spanish first, and then I want Michelle to welcome him on the council and swear him in Spanish. I would love to see Twitter that day. You got an Asian woman.
I wouldn't be mad at
Spanish. It's
America, and it's a blending pot.
It would do my heart so good to see, because they would go. Sometimes I just every time it happens on the news, I just sit back because it pisses them off. Yeah, and it just is. Listen.
So who you got? You got Lucian.
We got Lucian right now.
Lucian Murphy.
I've seen Lucian was about 1,000 votes about 900 votes over Murphy. 31,943. Murphy is 31,073. These numbers haven't changed much, and like this sheet says, it changes every 5 minutes. It ain't changing. And then you know why? Most of these people that were putting the numbers in, they celebrating and then called the races.
They drinking.
Yeah. So definitely, I was told that Henry did place fourth, just not as much, because the numbers and the gap between a Henry and I would probably presume a
Bridget.
No, it's going to be Bridget, but she.
I got Henry. I got Lucian at 31,943. Is that what you have?
I got. Yep. Okay, and Murphy at 31,073. But okay. I only have, as you see, it's only right now at 167 precincts reporting out of 275. I don't know what the math is. I'd have to go to my calculator, but that's not a high number. And then on the city website, they are currently at.
So how you gonna call it? You got the same numbers. You can't call it.
No, I'm not. Oh no, bro.
Oh, I thought you meant like calling, like you were calling the races like was over, like you had the.
Oh no. Not the sheet. Not the sheet.
Where's my pillows?
I got confirmation, Carlos. And I'm on here with you.
I was gonna say, I thought you had a winner.
No, I got winners via text and affirmations that Wu, all her candidates got in. So that lets us know that Henry placed fourth.
Yeah,
I didn't know Michelle was back in Ben. So
yeah, she came. Yep.
And then Henriquez in District 5.
I mean, Ben's whooping on King. Ben's Weber and King. They're like 40 points apart.
Yeah.
20 percentage points apart. Yeah. Yep, sorry, 20%. Yep.
And then, but why did they put Vital in red? It's just like, was that just rude? The lowest number. Oh, they're putting the lowest number.
Yeah, the lower. Yeah.
Oh, maybe the sheet is calling it without adding the no, because they wouldn't put her in red as the lowest. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by these numbers, but I'm not impressed by these numbers. District 7. I mean,
the total votes, District 7 barely made 1,200 votes. As of 100 is. So let me go back to this sheet and see if the numbers change as far as
just to explain to everybody listening in a real basic layman's terms. When you look at Boston, when you look at any major city in the country, when you look at what's going on in the country, when the blackest ward in the city that has the highest cases of everything bad, highest death rate, infant mortality, homicide rate, unemployment, health disparities, you name it. When those numbers coincide like that, something has to change. And if you, this is what I really want to ask people, but I don't ever get the honest answers. Do people really believe that the people that you elected today, and this is what I hope you'll look to them for the next 2 years, are they really speaking to those issues? And are they not only speaking to those issues, are they creating strategic plans that include budget and policy that help out residents about those issues? Because otherwise, this does not change, right? If the rest of the black and brown leadership of Boston, bless you, does not circle around District 7,
Excuse me.
bless you, bless you, and the state rep and the city council that represent District 7, and start to increase civic engagement and start to increase voter turnout, what hope? Why would you expect people to get involved in politics? Like that's right there on paper every time. That's been like that
For years.
since 2007 when I first ran. District 7 was the lowest voter turnout.
That is, so I did find out. I'm going to go back to that. Say it louder, Carlos. People in the back can't hear you.
Man,
It is on us. I seen the comment that Tessel put, and I was wondering how he was going to respond to that. It may be he had put he said it's not trauma. It's
there's apathy to it too. Yeah, there's definitely apathy to it. People just don't they just don't care.
Yeah. But do they not care because they don't know?
That's a mix. It's like I was gonna say, it's like Doughboy at the end of Boys in the Hood. Either they don't know or don't show about what's going on. But so if they don't know, I that's a leadership issue for me, right? Someone has to be taught. Now you can go seeking an answer, but it helps to be taught when people that you know in your community have the answer.
Yeah.
And if they do know and they're sitting it out, then you're an asshole.
Let's talk about that, because there is a population that's not working 2 jobs, that is not impacted by poverty.
They don't give.
And they just don't. And so do we spend energy? Okay, look, do we spend energy on trying to make them ones, or do we spend energy on trying to turn the 3 to ones, or do we focus just on the ones? But obviously we don't have enough ones turning out when we got these dismal numbers.
You have to speak to them. I had friends when I first ran for office. I had friends that were in that demographic, didn't vote, didn't know anybody that ever ran for office. They looking at me like, you gonna run for office? The same dudes we used to smoke blunts and play video games in your basement, like, you running for office? And I had to stay on them. Like, I had to keep the conversation on the block. Like, when the blunt's in the air, we have to be talking politics. When we're riding in the car, we have to be talking about it don't have to dominate every conversation.
Made it part of the culture.
We need a critical mass of people. And we don't have the luxury of skipping over anybody and being like, oh, you don't care? Well, we'll move on and find someone that does. Because they're not just waving out the window like, I care. There might be a specific reason. Ask why they don't care, or that don't make a difference. If that's your answer, I'm sure I got a sales pitch that can change your mind. I can show you through evidence how it makes a difference. Now, if I do that and you still don't care, then I'm done with you. Then you're a 5, right? Now you know and you chose.
Not even a 3, you gave him a 5.
Right, you out. But I'm not trying to collaborate with you. You're not part of my community, of growing my community. But if you're interested now, then let me show you. Let me walk with you. Let me show you how it goes. And we don't have that.
I'm sorry, I drifted off to numbers real quick, but it is a combination of the folks that I guess in the 3s that I guess you focus on and try to get them the ones, and then the 5s. In the age of internet, post George Floyd, post he who used to occupy the White House, I find it very interesting when you attempt to talk to some people in a political realm about anything quality of life, and they're tuned out. And and some of them are aware. I've been using your thing. If you flush the toilet, you're political. If your kids go to public schools, you're political. If you stop at I think I added this one. If you stop at a stoplight on the city street, you're political. And so I just don't know what it is that it's going to take. I just wish we can get some.
I mean, hold your elected officials accountable. Look at the numbers. Okay, all right. Let's do a drill real quick. Look at the numbers. Tell me, and I'm gonna let you. We're gonna use James as our test subject. He is our representative for all our listeners on here, right?
They're about to go in.
Y'all are all James constituents, so y'all fall under his leadership. Now, James, look at the list of people that are running for election tonight, and tell me on the city council, who are your allies? Who do you count as allies, as your community's allies? You're known to be very progressive. You represent LGBTQ issues. You represent mental health issues, anti-violence issues, all kinds of different issues across the community. Count your allies out and name them?
Louisiana,
Yep.
Mejia,
Yep.
as of right now, Santana,
Yep.
Pepin,
Yep.
presumably Weber,
Yep.
Fernandez for sure,
Yep.
Durkin, and I don't know who's in Worrell.
Yep.
And then two is who's two?
Flynn.
Yeah.
He might be, as you say, malleable, right? He might be malleable. All right, so you named about 8 people. I lost count, 8 or 9 people.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's not even counting state reps and state senators.
Counting Worrell, that's not counting
now out of your allies, that how many votes did they command? If you just total up the votes, don't you got about 100,000 people right there?
About a good 100,000 people there behind me.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm doing this math right. I failed math in high school several times. That's why I speak a lot, because I don't want to do math. But if I'm crunching these numbers poorly in my head, there's probably about 100 to 150,000 Bostonians.
I could tell you a subtotal right now. Keep talking.
That are represented by probably about 10 to 12 other Bostonians, right?
Yep.
You're telling me that these 10 to 12 Bostonians, with the help of 100,000 other Bostonians, can't organize the communities that they represent? They can't get out the message to vote with a year's notice? They can't collaborate and share resources. They can't shoot PSAs for the social media. They can't put together money to get ad space on local media. They can't get vote signs and go store to store and on their main thoroughfares and make sure that there's signs out. They can't, as a collective group, lobby these organizations to get out the vote, like Rocks Vote and Mass Vote, to make sure there's good signage up and down the thoroughfares in their community. You're telling me that 10 to 12 people who represent 100,000 to almost 200,000 people in the city of Boston, poor people, can't get it done? Is that what you're telling me?
So there's not Darren and I have had this conversation. Is there lack of the political will?
What is political will? You mean people actually sitting in a room until they get some shit done?
I'm being very succinct. Political will of the politicians, not community will.
Okay, political. So because I'm starting to agree with you, because I've been in some of those rooms. You have 12 to 13 people at state and city level that can't get in a room, that represent almost 200,000 Bostonians, some of the poorest, some of the neediest. They can't get in a room together. And I'm not asking them to fix social ills. All right, we ain't asking for the Gaza Strip to be returned to its rightful owners. We talking about, let's give me 3 things that this group of 13
your priorities
can champion
to work on.
Yeah. No, I don't want no priorities, because priorities are easy. We're going to prioritize not stopping the violence. We're going to prioritize affordable housing, and we're going to prioritize education. And I got an anecdote for each one. Damn the priorities. What is your plan of action? What is your bill? What is your bill name and number? When is it up for a vote? How much money is attached to the bill? And when do I need to call in or show up at City Hall or the State House? You're telling me 12 or 13 people don't have the political will or the know-how to sit in a room and figure out how to get it done to serve their people?
I got it, Carlos. You never presented it like that before.
I'm just asking you your opinion. I'm just curious.
I don't. There is, it's obvious there's a lack of political will between.
It ain't Bridget Nee Wall standing in their way. It ain't Erin Murphy. She ain't the hobgoblin riding around on a silver surfboard, throwing out shamrock explosives at people. She's not the Green Goblin. She's not stopping the 12 electeds that represent black and brown people that happen to be black and brown themselves from making progress.
Carlos, tapping it, but what is it? My assertion. Do you agree with the fact that it's going to take us to start holding them accountable?
Yeah,
It's
until
us.
until there's a body of people that
But
will,
see, we can't. That's a whole nother Zoom in
because
itself.
the same problem the electeds got, the community residents got. They
And
12 people can't get in the room and come to an agreement about an action plan.
but let me be honest and give credit to
God damn, this is getting depressing. I need another drink.
no no no
This is
no
water, by the way. I'm chasing.
with a red cup, yes sir. What it is lost the train of thought that quick. You say it's not.
It's,
I would say it's not that much the residents. It's the electeds, and it's our asserted.
but they're all residents. But we're all residents.
We're all residents, but I'm talking about community leaders. Because somewhere between the liaising of
Nobody gets only the electeds get elected as a community leader. Everybody else is self-anointed, self-appointed. They might as well have spoken to God in their sleep. And when they woke up, God told them that they were to advocate for the community. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with if God chose you to carry his message, if he chose you to be an advocate. But you still have to sit down with other people and come up and build a consensus. Like that's what leadership is about. You have to actually come to an agreement. It might not be your favorite agreement. I might want 7 cheeses in my macaroni and cheese, and I might only get 4. But at least if we agree that the noodle got to get cooked first, and then the cheese got to be layered, and it got to be put in the oven. At least if we can agree on 3 or 4 of the steps on how it's made, we can come to a compromise.
3 cheeses, yeah.
But if we're gonna spend a decade or 2 arguing about who gets to choose the cheese, where the cheese comes from,
is it
how many cheeses, such and such didn't get called about the cheese, and they've been collecting cheeses since cheese has been cheese. And if we get caught up in all that,
but that's what we do, and it just
so are we dysfunctional?
Very dysfunctional.
So are we any more dysfunctional than the white Irish Catholics? Are we any more dysfunctional than the Jews? Are we any more dysfunctional than the Caribbean part of our diaspora that comes over here and speaks Spanish and sticks together and grows conglomerates? Is it an ADOS thing? What is it? Is it a Boston thing? What is it?
To answer your question, I think it's a it's unfortunately we have not got beyond the ability to move beyond leaders versus reversing into the leaderful. I think, and I got to go to this, Carlos. It is unfortunate, some perpetuation of generational trauma, blah blah blah. I mean, not blah 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 to make light of that. That is a small component, not an excuse. I just don't know, because everything that I'm naming about us, every other, I don't know, Carlos. I don't know, because everything that you named, every other demographic experiences. So what is it that?
And I don't want to, and I never want to act like we're playing on a level playing field.
That's at
right.
No one's at the yeah.
But
well, you might have just got your answer.
Well, what I'm saying is when you see somebody fall down and you don't run behind them and step in the same hole, right? Like when you see best practices, when you see an example in front of you that works, you at least try to employ that example. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure we've even gotten to that point. Like I use white Irish Catholics as an example when I talk about Boston politics all the time.
And that's real.
And I use it intentionally because those that actually know history know that they came in. Now, they didn't come in the game as effed up as we came in the game.
Yep.
But they came in the game effed up. And they had to use certain tactics to gain the power that they have wielded and have wielded over the last, let's say, 50 years in the city of Boston. So all I'm saying is that while we came in more effed up than them, we could at least begin to use some of the tactics that we've seen be successful for them. I mean, it's the lack of even trying. Like, you can't even tell me, when we go back to your electeds that represent you, you can't even tell me an issue that you've seen the 10 or 12 of them write a letter to you about, do a PSA on, or vote together on. You can't.
Let's just name that a lot. Shout out to State Representative Russell Holmes. They kind of picked up the torch from you. You started that where you got there. The state has the Massachusetts Black and Latino Legislative Caucus, but you reached out to city folks, electeds, and
Yeah,
like, let's get together every 2 weeks. That meeting
but
still does happen, but it's not.
But what fruit? What fruit has it? And I, I would love to hang my hat on that, James. I would love to be like, yeah, I stood on the shoulder of my ancestors and I took something that I learned from the Chucks and the Dianes and those that came before me that I studied under. I saw something that worked for them. I saw the white Irish Catholics do it when Michael Flaherty gave me a shot, and I wanted to do it to see if we could do it. Unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond my control, I was not able to stay and chair it and lead it myself. But I don't even know if with me doing that, would there have been a change. But what I do know is in the last, how long has it been? My God, 10 years, going on 10 years now?
Yeah.
There's no fruit. And the group is fractured and has been fractured.
Yeah.
And I found the same thing when I got into the State House. The Black and Latino Legislative Caucus operates the same way. It's fractured. It's just a figurehead.
Miss Teresa put up oh God, Miss Teresa, he's gonna love this because he'll correlate this movie piece. It's the New Jack City.
Oh yeah, I mean, if that was the case, then they would have peeped my example, and none of these elected officials would be getting caught up in the news these days. But obviously, they don't learn from example. Some hard-headed people only want to learn from experience. But you're right. And I love it and I appreciate it. I've had sitting elected officials now come to me when they were candidates and say, "Oh, when I get in there, I'm gonna do it different because y'all just didn't know what y'all was doing." And then a year after they're in there, they're like, "Oh my God, my mental health, the stress every day is killing me." And I'm like, "Hold on, you asked for this job. Like, we warned you about this job. You tried to sun us and say that it was easy to carry on for your people, and now you find yourself struggling to carry on for your people." Like, it is that exactly what she said. It's that New Jack City. Oh, I'm here now. It's gonna be different. Like, no, it's not. You need to learn how to not to step into the same potholes and make the same mistakes.
Potholes, yes, sir. Potholes.
We on wash, rinse, repeat, man. Yes. We got to wrap this up. It's getting 10, and I don't have another.
I don't want to get in trouble either.
My drink is far away.
Hold on. I'm looking at the comments. Okay, I think I'm in good graces. Or is she at work?
No, I'm home alone, so I could do this all night. I can't get in trouble tonight.
The numbers are changing. Okay, here we go. We
might need an intermission.
You know what's going on? It's the precincts that's late. When I go into these, I'm not going to tell you which precincts they are, but it's some of the precincts reporting. But it is based on these holes that I'm seeing right now. The numbers that we're still waiting to come in are in 12.
Hey,
I'll go look at 7.
Hey, when you go in them precincts,
Codman Square.
When you go in them precincts, James, to vote, what generation of poll workers from? Because I know what you're talking about. You know, they do take their time wrapping up when you be wanting to get that receipt on the wall.
You just asked that question.
When you got to get that receipt on the wall, and the mayor's people is like, we're waiting on you to call it. Hey, we still don't have the numbers from Ward 14-7. You know what I'm saying? Donnie Tavares is calling you on the phone like, Los, we need those numbers. Did you call? It's like, no, I'm waiting for Sister Mildred to break down the machine, and she ain't found any Scotch tape to hang the receipt up yet, so I can't get the numbers into you. It's a lot of boomers working in the polling locations, and thank God they are, because if they weren't, we sure ain't gonna be there. We don't even go there to vote. See, exactly.
I'm a Java said.
But it's respectfully. I say it respectfully. Right. It's the seniors in there holding it down, still doing their civic duty as Generation X has sailed off into the clear blue yonder. Just turned the whole thing over to the millennials. We just turned it all over.
I know, but Carlos, when you ask that, the numbers are coming in right now. When you ask that, I just got a vision of my ward and precinct and everybody's auntie.
You know it.
Everybody's auntie or nana.
They got to fold up the brown tan chairs first and lean them up first. You could tell the police want to go. They was like, just give us the box so we can go. They taking their time. Everybody back up now. Back up. Like, we'll back up if you could just put the numbers up there.
Stop.
Some of these old folks working the poll, but they're getting that bag. It's $150 to work the polls.
I thought it was volunteer. Somebody, I ran.
No, you get paid as a poll worker.
I ran into Barbara Critchlow today.
You thought she was out there just on GP? She was
No.
getting that
She
paper.
was campaigning. She wasn't in thing. But
who Barbara Critchlow campaigning for? Because that gives you the heartbeat of Mattapan when you know who Barbara over that Mildred Ave corridor over there. Who she was holding a sign?
She had 2 stickers.
You can say it. She wore it publicly. Who she was? Let me guess. Mayor Wu.
No,
because she wasn't on the ballot, so there was no stickers. She had a Ruth Z and she had a Julia Penn. Wow. She had a Ruiz. No, who votes at Mildred? Mildred was District 5 voting at Mildred?
Yeah. What do we used to play? Hot beans and cold butter?
Yeah, District 5 voted at Mildred because District 4 wouldn't have had a race.
Precincts. Only a couple of precincts.
Right, but it would have been there, so that means she was wearing she's probably wearing she wasn't wearing a Pepin pen. She was wearing a Ruiz pen. Are you playing coy like it's a secret? The vote's already cast.
Because Sister Barbara ain't going to be calling me.
She was wearing a sticker. You can't be wearing a sticker and then act like it was a secret.
I just had to.
But I'm saying she's from that era. Ruiz is a boomer, a well-connected boomer. So yeah, I can see them if they've been in civic engagement for a long time. I can see that connection happening.
Because I went to her and laughed. I was surprised. All right, so the latest numbers I got with the 168 precincts reporting is
seniors don't rock with you when you're 27. I'll tell you that right now. I ran at 27. Shout out to Enriquez. And I was dragging the table across the carpet to get this cup.
I thought you was doing. It sounded like damn.
Seniors do not care about a 27-year-old running for office at all.
Baby, he ain't lived enough yet.
that boy don't know nothing. He's younger than my damn son.
Look who we just talked about you, Kerry. We said that right now the advocates are Sister Barbara Critchlow and Kerry Mays. There ain't no middle.
Right. It's either they got an AARP card or they just old enough to drink Hennessy just now. That's it. That's it.
Let's go back and look at these numbers so we can wrap up because I need to go.
Shout out gang votes.
gang votes. And she Kerry's up on the front of the Teen Empowerment News Center. They're over at on Warren Street now, right across from the Boys and Girls Club.
Maybe more importantly, she also takes up space on commissions and boards
Reparations Task Force
that more of us need to sit on. Either some Generation X people or make room for some more millennials and Z to come along. But we need to take up more of those seats as well because if we need to be represented in all places across the board.
I got a little convicted tonight though about the stepping back as a Gen Z. What am I?
You're Gen X, man. Old man.
Whatever. All right. 32, 124, Ruth C. Julianne. 31, 2. I'm going to play that number. 31, 234, Aaron Murphy. 27, 798, Julia Mejia. 24, 652, Henry Santana. And Bridget right now. None of them better not leave that council.
How many precincts? Wait. Oh, because it leaves her open for 5th.
Leaves her open for 5th.
Well, who's leaving the council?
Of them 4, depending on who comes president, and depending if
Ruthie's an attorney, she can leave anytime she wants to.
Yeah,
get paid twice as much, right? But she might want to run for mayor. She might want to run for Congress. She might want to run for senator, right? She's from that.
I asked her
from that pipeline, the Senator Warren pipeline.
Senator Warren, Senator.
Who else? Who else is gonna? Who else is leaving? I
don't think any of them. What did Erin do? Was she a teacher?
For most people, being a city council is the best job they ever had in their life. Yeah, that's what I mean. People got to remember, like this is a good job. It's not like people be like, you know what, I'm down on my luck, man. I don't know what to do. I think I'm just gonna go over there and run for city council. Like you don't run for city council on your down slide. Well, maybe I have, but most people are run on their up. You know what I'm saying? So it's usually the best job you have at that time. And if the better one doesn't appear, then you're there.
It's gonna stay there. That's why some people have one foot in the grave and one foot in the council.
Don't believe them. Even when they stand up in the city council, I don't need this job. I don't care if I get reelected. You lie.
Oh God. All right, where what you call? I don't think there's going to be any major shakeups tonight. Last thing I saw, well, at least District 7 got over 13, or close to 1,400 votes. But District 6 is at like,
Bro, 70,000 people live there. 70,000 people live there. At least 25,000 of them can vote. I ain't getting excited about 1,400 people coming out to vote out of 25,000.
oh, can we, before we go, can we just also name that the reason Althea is even a little bit viable in District 7 is because those two people that I named backed her?
No, I'm not even giving. No.
No, she does
Nope.
have name recognition and
Nope.
on her own merit, but
Listen, I am not giving them no credit. For Althea was Althea. She was who she was when they got here. She's been in the game longer than them.
But
she's been elected to seats that they haven't been elected to. That was just their best try at throwing a name out there, throwing some shade. It was weak. They never have been able to decide who gets elected in District 7, and they never will without cheating and changing the district lines.
Thank you for that. Okay, because but my thing is more the motive, and it was known that they put money behind her to take Tanya out around that overall 13 vote that we talked about. They don't care about the district. That's about that overall vote.
That's fine. Why should they care about the district?
I mean, I'm just saying that
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just playing. I'm playing the other side. Like,
yep.
We got to stop assuming that elected officials care.
Oh no, I don't care.
And we got to stop. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying we also got to stop assuming that they care about everybody equally. That they see all people and they treat. I don't care what their Twitter says. I don't care if they say all means all. I don't care if they say actions, not just words. I don't care what their hashtag is. It's their policy, and it's what they fund that'll tell you what they care about. Nothing else for a politician.
And how they vote on redistricting, how they vote on the process of the exam.
On the issues that affect those communities. Right. I don't care if you showed up to my cookout and took a picture with me. I don't care.
We can end right there. Carlos, I want to end on a super good note that I think that you will find very encouraging, because I know you and I don't talk about this stuff and then we just go to bed. Well, you do. You do now. You can click X and be done. I love that for you. I love that for you. And if you know Carlos, you love it for him too.
I'll click X and then roll one. Being frank about it, that's what I just pulled the table over closer so I could. I was trying to get the crumbling while we was wrapping up.
I'm going to get you, Jimmy. There's nothing left in that can. It's not a can. It's a glass.
Hey, we got to go. They clocking us now. Now they just looking for something.
I need you to see this young lady because she blessed my heart so good. Her parents have been taking her to vote with them since she was 1 year old. I got to interview the whole family. I'll do the mother and the father tomorrow, but I want this to end. I want you to see this. Just if we end on a good note, because we did cover some heavy stuff tonight, y'all. But let me just zoom in a little bit.
How come we only got 4 languages on the voter sign?
I don't know. I mean, at least they got that. Oh no, not at least, because they could do better when it comes to languages. Oh, I meant to tell you, I did ask Ruthie, was she running for mayor? She gave a very good answer.
Happy. Was she happy to be a city councilor? I was just looking over your shoulder, seeing what
that was 18. So I'm in my thing. My Mildred is, I want to say 4 precincts. One of them was Ruiz, and then 17-7, 17-8, and then 18 these. So yeah. All right, let me let you hear this young lady. Hi, we're still here in Mattapan in actually Ward 17 and 18, and we are. Sorry, y'all. What did I do?
I'm just impressed by the cordless mic. Woo! Cordless mic, black and red.
In actually Ward 17 and 18, and we are with
Rebecca.
We're here with Rebecca, and you heard from Rebecca's parents a few moments ago. So they've been bringing Rebecca with her to vote for at least up until she was 18. How was that experience going to vote from the time you were 1 year? Well, from when you can remember. What has it been like these years of coming with your parents to vote, and how much did that influence you when you turned 18?
Well, I mostly went for like the sticker when I was younger. So
this is a staple here in the city of Boston. So
yeah. But yeah, it's just important. It's your civic duty these people are the people who make decisions about your life for the next 2 years or 4 years or whatever. So
what in it, we can make some presumptions about what's important to young people. The city of Boston has a new night czar, nightlife. What is a priority for you when it comes to voting and you considering your candidates?
Where they stand on like the issues that are important for me. We have a huge major housing crisis right now in our state, not just in our city. And there's a lot of things that need to be changed so people can stay here. So that's one of the main things that's important for me. And also, are you going to actually stand up and do what you said you were going to do? Or are you going to sit back and let people change your mind because now you're in office, or just you want to keep the peace?
Let me ask you one last question. How do you personally hold your elected officials accountable, either through email or social media? There's this notion of we elect and then neglect, like we don't support them or hold them accountable. How do you hold your elected officials accountable?
So I actually work in community. So when we had the redistricting going on, like I've been at all those hearings and those meetings, many meetings, and you just have to show up and you have to use your voice. They don't care about they don't really care about our voice once you're paid for it. They care about your voice when you're a resident taking time out of your day. And if you don't use your voice, they're going to do whatever they want because no one spoke up and said this isn't okay, or we don't like this.
So you see where Rebecca got it from. We're here at the Mildred Ave Community Center in Mattapan, and I am inspired by Rebecca here. And thank you to her parents as well. This is why it's important to come out and bring your children with you when you vote. Rebecca, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Shout out Rebecca. Very well
Listen,
done.
she's 23. I don't know if you heard. She's 23.
Makes sense.
And her mother and father both are firecrackers. We'll show them tomorrow. But I wanted to end with that one to just oh, look at Carrie. If you know her, please connect me with her. I gave her a card, but I just wanted to end on that note because a lot of this space is again, you do a little bit better. But just, I think we're going to be okay. Thank you for the clarity that I was probably over concerned about the switch of the philosophy around the council. It just was a real concern that the philosophy would change.
Oh, it's changing, but it's not how you thought it was going to change.
It is changing, but it isn't what I thought. I just, if that 4 was a different result, I would have been very concerned. I would have been calling up to Montreal about what. No, I ain't that bad. But no, Carlos, I thank you. Once some of these other invoices or things drop, we'll need to send you an offering, Jesus.
Bless your heart.
Did you just do a run?
Bless your heart. That was my grandmother just channeled through to me. Bless your heart. Gots to be more careful. Ooh, boy.
Miss Teresa, thank you for tuning in. Carlos, get off of here. I'll get you something, bro. And I think we covered everything. Nothing major.
Nah, just keep your eye on Wu for the next 2 years. It's her game now. She got the council stacked. There's no reason she can't do what she wants to do. So if she's not speaking to your issue.
So her only anti-votes right now really are going to be
where's the elected school committee she promised?
It's partial, or did she wind up going partial? And I'll say this. Oh, the other day, this was interesting, Carlos.
Where that? She ran on that. She said she was bringing it back. Where that?
And she's not, that it hasn't come back yet?
No, she ain't bringing it back.
I saw.
Unless she's saving it as a surprise for a second term. Surprise! I was waiting for you to get excited, and I brought it out. I mean, what are you doing? You ain't gonna
be able to state that again if you didn't do it first. I'll tell you this and let you go as the people are dropping. So I had Michelle scheduled for the first Wednesday. Anissa didn't know, so she had the guests that were crossing over with Michelle. They were from participatory budgeting. So when I saw that flyer, I had Anissa. I was like, because I have the guest crossover in between. Mm-hmm. I was like, but that the school committee and participatory budgeting were two things that are major that I'm hearing about that folks are like.
The millions of dollars she was about to give to the police for more intelligence.
And the brick. And remember how to count. See that? I think that for me, maybe
she just threw all the homeless people's houses in the trash. Like she's no saint.
There's
room for critique there too.
There's room for critique. There's a canyon for.
I mean, I know that's your second most high profile guest, so I'm going to tread lightly as we wrap up here. You got the Congresswoman is your most entertaining.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say you was.
No. See that my ego? I checked my ego at the door, brother. I didn't bring my ego here. This is not ego. This is how we go. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just saying.
I got to mention something to you too.
Well, let's wrap this up. I see you in the chat room in the green room.
Oh no, but you gonna go in your green room, and when we get off of here, we gonna be done. We're not gonna do like we used to. Remember, we used to debrief after.
Well, wrap it up then. I got stuff to do.
Wrap it up so you can go wrap it up. No, Carlos, seriously, thank you. And we will check it. I want to be more. We need to be more intentional about this. So some of these little civic engagement organizations need to give me a little grant.
Or you could just invite them on and then have me on as a surprise guest, and that way you could play the nice guy, and I'll just be the heavy.
Or do what I did that day when the computer went out and you Ramilda took over.
Yeah, where was y'all at? Shout out my homegirl Ramilda. I just seen her 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. She's over in CB now talking about you having a party at Estella's without me. Shout out while y'all are here and watch the After Watch. Estella's Thursday night, 10 p.m. Giving back with a purpose. We're collecting goods for migrants. All right, brother. I appreciate you.
Likewise, sir. Be
all
well.
Right, I'll be texting before I go to bed.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, man.
Peace.
All right, folks. We definitely appreciate my good friend and brother coming in to help us out and have this discussion. Glad he alleviated some of my concerns, but they were real. All right, I'm getting off of here. It is 10:30, and I think we started at 8:45. UCB, y'all get 2 hours tonight, right, Ma? If you're a UCB member, we started at 8:45 and it's 10:30. So, all right, we'll see you tomorrow morning with the Davis system, Anthony Davis and Aaron Davis, and also City Councilor still, Kendra Laura is going to join us and chat with us about her tenure, as well as the results of tonight's election. So we'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Have a great day, everybody, and we shall talk to you soon. Peace.